Hi. Okay. Man, I fell on my butt the other day and it is getting better, but it still hurts. Whew. So it's been good because I've been able to make the excuse to just sit and relax. And been talking with some friends, hung out with my nephews today. That makes me really grateful not to be uh, the parent of such young children anymore. It's really hard. So my sister's always been her own person and been trying to lead me into this path of exploration for many, many years. And I've learned a lot from my little sister over the years. So I really appreciate her. And I do love her kids as my own. So that's a pretty special thing. I'm just so grateful because all the folks in my life have really helped to shape me. And that's a really cool place to be, a space of gratitude. And when I get myself, when I catch myself being bratty and acting ignorant, willfully ignorant, yeah. Oh, hi, Diana. I didn't say anybody was on, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, I'm definitely grateful for folks in my life like Diana because they've been so bold publicly, and that's what I was really afraid to do. Weird, it keeps dropping the count of back to zero, nobody watching, but I don't mind. I don't mind if you're watching a replay or if I'm just talking to myself or talking to some future troll of mine, whatever. I'm ready to be bold. I'm ready to be myself. So I've been reading this book, Sorcery, Thomas Sheridan, and I wanted to reflect on that briefly. I'm going to read the back of the book. In Sorcery, The Invocation of Strangeness, Thomas Sheridan presents the reader with his own philosophical insights, as well as a basic introduction into the world of magic and the occult. Representing the author's lifelong fascination with and study of these topics, Sheridan demonstrates how what we call sorcery is very much a living and thriving force within society. From the ancient magical traditions of the proto-shamanic world of the megalithic builders to the computer-generated conjurations of today's digital magi, Sheridan outlines the history of sorcery within a fascinating and accessible journey through the art and science of the magical tradition. Along with this, the reader of Sorcery, The Invocation of Strangeness, will discover a world of spells, sigils, folklore, superstitions, and demons. Is it really just all hocus pocus? Or is it the cutting edge of quantum theory and cosmology, merely rediscovering what the magicians, witches, shamans, and demonologists have always known to be real? Prepare to discover that the world which you thought you knew is actually a very strange place, and what you presently experience as space-time reality is far more malleable than you ever realized. Nothing will be considered ordinary from this point on. So how cool is that? In the live chat here, I posted a link to tonight's episode of The Weekend Strange, and y'all should check that out as well. So I'm just gonna get better about notating and everything like that. I did write an excerpt of Sorcery from page 21. You do not have to be the person society told you who and what you are. You can become the best version of whomever you choose to be. Sorcery is the roadmap that will lead you towards this psychic and creative proficiency. So I'm kind of slowly chewing on this book. I have a lot going on in my life, and it's nice to kind of take it slow, actually, because the other day I was writing from the same book. I was taking some notes while I was reading and just really slowing down. And it reminded me how I was in high school when I would read a book. I'd just take pages and pages of notes. I would never write in the books. But Thomas Sheridan's really the first person that interested me in looking more, doing more research and reading H.P. Lovecraft, because my old kind of liberal brain, I guess, I thought the characters were cool looking and everything like that, but I never really read Lovecraft, and I heard he was racist and stuff like that. And so I never gave him a shot. But Thomas Sheridan helped me gather a different perspective. And he writes about Kalulu. This is from page 16 in Sorcery. The Kalulu that once lay dead and dreaming within the depths of the human psyche does appear to have begun to move up to the surface of the collective consciousness, which any Jungian worth their salt would be only too quick to recognize and understand. Lovecraft's sorcery is indeed working on the psychic level for the time being. Cthulhu is here. Shifts in human consciousness and cultural convulsion have always been complemented with subaquatic monsters representing the symbolic depths of the society undergoing these changes. By becoming something of a Captain Nemo, exploring these psychic depths beforehand can save you from being consumed by them when they finally emerge. So I think that's really powerful, because I definitely feel that energy stuff is just so crazy, and yet there have been all of these really positive things that I've experienced personally, and especially just in terms of like having ups and downs of like my identity, discovering that isn't something that should be tied to like what my job is. But I think that's how we've been trained for for generations now, is that you are what you do. And it's like just this reductionist view of like, what are you good for? I don't know. I'm just me. Isn't that enough? So I want to reclaim the animist perspective, and I titled the show about the missing 411. That's a project by David Paulides, and I mentioned him yesterday, but I couldn't remember his name. So this project is the missing 411, and the Canam project is his channel. And I'm going to be digging more into that series, but the little bit of watching of David Paulides, I'm just in love. I think if I have it correct, his son suffered from bipolar, and he disappeared mysteriously, or they did find him. But David Paulides is a former police officer, and he's done investigations for years on specifically people missing in the national parks. And some of it really is supernatural. And I didn't discover it until I got onto David Paulides' own channel, that he's not dismissing the unknowable. There's just some really compelling stories. So I wanted to make sure that I told you guys about that because I'm going to be looking into it a lot. Um, you know, uh, this time has really been making me think a lot about the past of human conflicts. And we have our own individual shadow work to do. And that's something that we can then use as a tool, rather than being afraid of it. And I think what we imagine is that there's only the you hear this a lot now. This is one of the enchantments being spoken right now. The right side of history. You're on the right side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. It's interesting. Um, I think our true history is quite buried. And so right now we're actually being questioned. We're being criticized for asking questions. And we really do need to be allowed to speculate a little bit. Really need to be able to say the word if in a question. Um, and you're just stomped all over for that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to be moving away from my Facebook. I'm not even going to be looking at it. Um, what I'm doing is I'm reading, listening to some really interesting uh, other podcasts and content creators, and looking at everything that just kind of flies in front of my face. I've got friends sharing videos with me all the time. So I'd like to build up this channel as a way to gather a lot of these topics of interest and dive into them. And one of the things I've been thinking about is this mass migration. We talk a lot about economy and war and um, certain private companies only exist because they are government contracted. And there's a lot of money going there. And we're going to be pushing for, getting new weapons to help the conflict in the Ukraine right now. Oh no, we're not going to put our soldiers in there, but we are going to draft some legislation to maybe make it look like we might draft women. And we're going to have we're going to drop Title 42, and we'll tell you the end date of Title 42, and then our borders will basically, we won't have enough people to manage our borders. We might have to borrow some staff from the VA hospitals to go help with the 500,000 millions people that may be coming across our borders in the next few months, before the next election. So that kind of stuff people are screaming about right now. And then some folks, they're just playing their video games and watching their other silly YouTube channels. They're buying stuff online, and they're in their garden groups asking people, "What's this weed? How do I kill it? What's this mushroom in my garden? How do I kill it?" So I used to think like the garden groups were on Facebook were like the savior, like finding out about businesses and pop-up markets and stuff like that. And that was what I was trying to primarily use it for. And I had some great experiences offering, if I had a surplus of one kind of plant and then other people would want to trade. But, people just can be so icky, and I just don't want to put my energy towards that kind of icky stuff. So I found some really cool communities here on on YouTube. McDuff Lives 3 channel. I'll have to link to that. I'll just post this in the live chat. But some of these channel communities, there's like the handful of people that come on for the lives and participate in the live chats. And I've been trying to put myself out there and say things during the live chats and just gauge what's the energy of these groups. And I've found a few people in a few of these groups to just be amazing. And it's renewed my optimism, because I do feel that although I'm often a cynic, I want to be optimistic, and I believe myself to be eternally optimistic. And I just listened to the episode. I posted at the top of the chat, the Weekend Strange, and it was awesome. They talked about a lot of different things, but the one segment that I love the most is Thomas's psychic weather report. And very briefly, I'll just say he's talking about, let's take the middle ground and create. And I feel that's a really good affirmation for what I am doing now. And so I love that. I love that we're here. I love that I'm getting more comfortable really in my own skin. So I wrote something this weekend because an old song popped into my head. That was Thomas Sheridan's Weekend Strange. Last week was talking about nostalgia. I've been thinking a lot about that as the peas in the garden are sprouting and I get to eat the first greens. And that always brings me back to being in my grandpa's garden, playing with my cousins. So this song, Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony, popped into my head the other day. So I had to look it up and listen to it. And then I watched the music video. And there's all these people dying. And they're being taken from their bodies by like the angel of death. And as they all come from their bodies and they're seen as a kind of like a spirit form, at the very end of the video, there's a mountain. And I've been thinking about the crossroads from the perspective of flat ground and maybe where a road forks. But this imagery was of a mountain and a road rising around the mountain, and all the bodies, all these souls waiting. And I thought that was interesting imagery, and it made me think of the Tower of Babel. And I'm pretty sure the short story is people trying to build literally a tower to reach God. And it's a city in which, everybody could communicate with one another. And as the tower was struck down, everyone is given different languages so that they can't talk to each other anymore. They can't artificially create some tower to reach God. So I think that's kind of the childhood version I was raised with. So that thought came to mind. And then reading Thomas Sheridan and thinking about Lovecraft and Cthulhu and, him dead and dreaming. And so I'm at the crossroads so you won't be lonely. The fall of the Tower of Babel, destroying the natural rhythms which brought us into consciousness. The monsters sleep, dreaming our waking hell. So I just wanted to share that little blurb. I've been getting a lot of random inspirations and just trying to tune into them. So, yeah, I just keep thinking about this connection that we all have with we're all displaced people. And I have found such an awesome community online that I never thought I would, just through watching awesome different content creators. So if you watch these videos, if you have books, uh, movies, you have recommendations that you want to show me, um, post them here. You should be able to uh, just leave comments here freely. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how this evolves, um, because I thought it was quite interesting. Whatever act it was that President Trump was able to sign without Congress, um, this Title 42 on migration. Admittedly, I need to learn more about it. But if Biden's going to remove Title 42, I thought, 42? What is 42? And I thought of Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, of course, the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. This answer was first calculated by the supercomputer Deep Thought after 7.5 million years of thought. So, we're either going to be beholden to their artificial intelligence, which just comes up with answers for things with no context, or, we're going to create a renaissance of the real kind of intelligence. It's just kind of what I'm musing about. So, anyways, I want to keep this a little short. I'm feeling tired, but thank you. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch up real soon. Watch my old videos and chime in on some of those topics, and catch up with David Paulides. He's got some really interesting, supernatural, compelling stories, and I think it's worth digging into everything. So thanks for being here on this journey with me, and we'll see you soon. I'm going to be posting some titles. I've got scheduled a bunch of upcoming streams. Maybe altering the times and dates of those slightly, but I do want to commit myself to doing a number of these, and that will just help me get better, I hope. So please engage with me here, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.